Expression is the first step out of oppression. One meaning of that is that as people express themselves, they're becoming actors in the human drama, and you have a responsibility to act and those kind of things. But what's also interesting to me there is I think another reading is that expression is the first step out of oppression means that there has to be expression and oppression are linked. Expression that begins to answer to an analysis of oppression is a key factor here. And this is something I've learned from the engagement down here with the community.
Over the Rhine has a lot of different types of needs, arranged based on the different organization or the individuals. And Miami has been able to provide solutions to those needs that other people can't. You can provide affordable solutions, right?
Miami University, through the center, has taken on often difficult, often complicated task of truly building community through long-term relationships.
Well, I'm Tom Dutton, and I'm the director of the Miami University Center for Community Engagement. This is fantastic that we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Center for Community Engagement. We began our presence very deeply and more engaged and consistently engaged in Oberrhein from 1996. That's when there were students that approached me who were architect students, and they were interested in trying to do a more real project. Not a hypothetical one. They wanted to do something that was actually real and had benefit for people, and they wanted to do some design and build. And it's exactly how it sounds, design and build something out. Since I sat on the Over the Rhine Housing Network board, I approached Mary Burke at the time, and she was the director of the network, and we found an apartment that had difficulty being rented on a continual basis, and here was an opportunity for some students to look at this and come up with some design proposals and build this out. That's how the design build program more or less got started in 1996. There was no money for this. The students raised their own money, and when they finished, we looked at this and everybody said, we need to keep this going. We're trying to be so efficient in the design build process that there's so little time to do it that students started pushing back and saying, we're learning a lot about designing and building in that whole intersection, but we're not learning all that much about the community. Which led to an idea that maybe there needs to be a center down here. There needs to be a place and open to the entire university where all majors and faculty can be down here learning, engaging the community, being involved in community campaigns, community service, that kind of thing. So it was actually the students that kind of pushed, and which led eventually to the center opening in February of 2002. The center has about 4 significant practices that we engage in. One effort is, and this predates the establishment of the center, but it's the design build work, for the architecture interior design majors. And so, but when we were doing it on that Monday, Wednesday, Friday basis, now we're able to do it, 30, 35 hours a week, depending upon need. We've done most of our work with Over the Rhine Community Housing, our a very significant community partner for us. They've been fantastic clients, and we love their mission, which is to put, housing back online for people of lower and moderate incomes.
So we've had a very close relationship with the Miami Center. Of course, they're housed in our Buddy's Place building, which was developed in 1999, and then we've worked with the program essentially every year since it started. They've created a couple of affordable housing units at 1542 Elm Street, at 530 East 13th Street. Up on East Clifton, they helped create a laundromat for the tenants of East Clifton Avenue. Of course, they renovated and kept up the Buddy's Place storefront for all these years, put a lot of resources into that. They created an office space on the 4th floor of Buddy's Place. That was a big build-out. They built an outdoor deck for a couple Dominican sisters in the neighborhood over on 15th Street.
They were looking for a project, and we had always talked about having a porch on the back of the house, but when we first renovated, we couldn't quite make it to that point. So we didn't have a porch, and when they brought it up with the Over the Rhine housing people, they mentioned, well, they didn't know if we'd be interested, but we had always wanted a porch, so of course we were interested.
2 years ago, the Design Build Studio project was at Peaslee Neighborhood Center. Some of the projects and the outcomes that came through that partnership. One was Peaslee is an older building, and so the students did a building needs assessment from top to bottom of everything that we needed done to the building in order to kind of prepare us for being able to launch a capital campaign down the road, which would be really important for us and help us set priorities for how to best utilize the community resource that we have, which is our building.
We moved to Over the Rhine in 2006. Miami students, along with the University of Cincinnati students, were involved in totally taking an empty white space and building it into a restaurant, kitchen, and office space, and meeting and training space. The Miami students built our whole back office training area, as well as being part of the whole project and laying the floors and things like that.
So back when I was an executive director of Restock in 2003, this is one thing. This was a housing study that was done by Miami Center. So, and it's really interesting. Like a lot of it called for some new home ownership, single-family home ownership right up here. So this essentially was kind of the first thoughts of creating city home. So the city home development is the first phase has been done, second phase is underway. But it's interesting that I think it really started with us working with Miami and coming up with initial concepts, in 2003. This is a project. It's called the 1500 Elm HUD 202 project. In November of last year, that we were awarded $1.7 million from HUD to fund this project. So. We're still going to raise a lot of money, but again, it all started with working with the Miami Center.
There was another project that they did upstairs because they had to cut the floor in my room, so they did the floor, that was wonderful. That was an unexpected treat. They actually even painted my bedroom, so I was really a great beneficiary of the services.
We desperately needed storage space because all of our previous storage spaces had become programming spaces because there was such a need in the community. So the students came up with a plan to design and build outdoor storage spaces specifically for our early childhood learning centers, schoolyard garden, and playground, so that those things could be stored in there. In addition to that, the students did a charrette and created a design and then helped us to implement that design of a safety city to where our kids, in addition to the garden that's outside, can learn direction, location, all about their city. They have stop signs and crosswalks, and and they have buildings where they do dramatic play that have neighborhood institutions as a part of that. And so that was a project that was totally within the skill set of the students that would have taken us a lot longer to implement, and it wouldn't have been done probably as professionally as it was.
We're trying to purchase the building, and they have been instrumental in helping us to make those plans happen.
They worked with us on different areas that we wanted, what the staff was concerned about, that we needed in our new space, and brought their own creativity and came up with designs that then they implemented upstairs.
Beautiful designs. You guys were in here all the time doing great stuff, and we were really excited, and it was kind of like we were kids waiting for our Christmas presents. We were like peeking around the corner like, what do you got there?
Yeah, seeing the transformation was just amazing from like beginning to like every time we pop up there with like something else was new or buffed up.
Another practice is what we call agitprops, which stands for agitation and propagation. And basically think of this as artistic installations, community-based projects that are primarily under the community's leadership, where students are working with leaders, organizers, residents, activists to pose questions and to remember histories and stories that are important to the people down here. and the Overrun People's Movement in particular?
Well, I think, first of all, I think what's special is the long-standing, trustful relationship that we have with the center. That's rare, I think, that we find somebody or some group that wants to really support us on the ground here in the neighborhood and really understands about what we're about and what we've struggled through. And then obviously with the amount of people and students that have come through the center, from helping us enhance some of the struggles that we've been through, the renovations of apartments, helping us with trying to save our deep water pool, OTREX, they helped us with the brochure. So,
They're not just here to do a project so they can learn. There's a real interest in being connected to the community and developing an understanding of the community. And I know anytime I've been at meetings where the students are, they seem to be very conscious of the people in the neighborhood and the goal of creating more communities where people that have been here for a long time are unable to remain in the community, which is a great concern, has been for years.
There's a lot of give and take in the relationship, and I think that's really important, and that the center comes with the attitude that it's not just that we have students who have a lot to offer, but that there's a lot to be learned from the existing community here in Over the Rhine. And I see residents who are energized by students doing things in the community, students who go on to do pretty exciting things both here in Over the Rhine and throughout the world after they've finished being involved in this process that just takes them out of their typical traveling world of Miami. And so I think they're a model for how to do service learning.
We do basic community service. That would be our third practice, where students are actually providing service to organizations. Teachers are working at Rotenberg Preparatory Academy, doing their full-time student teaching. Social worker majors are working with social workers in the neighborhood. We try and link those students and their majors to the needs of their future career goals and so forth, so they will be in experiences that relate to their majors. We've had business majors work at Venice on Vine, who help with the business plans, and they help with tutoring, and they help with young people over there trying to get back on their feet.
The Miami Urban Teaching Cohort has really impacted our school because we've had student teachers from Miami. They have been awesome men and women that have come through our doors with brand new, fresh ideas for some of the teachers who have been teaching for a long time. So having a cohort where the kids actually get immersed in the community and then come up and be a part of our school has really benefited us because they get to see both sides of the children's lives. So it's not like they drive from their homes and they never get in touch with the things that are going on in the community or the things that touch the students' lives. So it's been great. We've had great student teachers. Some of them are still come back and volunteer every week now. They do so much for us just based on being a part of that Urban Teacher Cohort.
Whole organization, Miami, has been a true blessing to us, and it allows us to bond with each other and learn the expectations for these children. What's the expectation? What do you do when you come into an urban school situation? How do you respect the students and respect where they come from? And how can you bring to the table those things that you have to give that can accessorize them to the best of their ability?
It's hard to quantify all the community engagement that's gone on. We've had a lot of Miami students work with us on various things who were interns here and helped us do a lot of work around the neighborhood. A lot of just engagement with residents in the neighborhood that isn't done by pretty much any other school or many other programs. So that real valuable I think engagement and getting to know the community, getting to know the residents, which doesn't happen very much.
The Miami Center has provided a number of different student projects that have helped our program, which is Venice on Vine across the street there. And so over the years I've gotten to work with a whole slew of different students as well as with the professors. Most semesters we've had a student intern through the center do a project for us of one kind or another. So most recently we had a student who worked on a marketing plan for our business items. Before that we had a student who designed our packaging for our business items.
The ethic there, just one thing about community service is important, but the ethic that we've learned from the community is that community service is the basis for a greater activism and a greater, deeper engagement. So it's important to do the face time, to build the relationships with these organizations, the people in these organizations.
One of our student teachers, she still comes here and is working as a part of our after-school program. Actually, Sierra did a girls group on her own where she would meet with some of the young ladies in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And they had a serious incident at home. And she was calling me, and that next morning she was looking at me like, okay, this was major. Did I handle it right? What should I have done differently? And I don't think it would have become that real to her if she wasn't immersed in that program where she was living down here and over the Rhine, where she actually could see some of the things that the kids deal with every night when they go home. And I think it made her have an appreciation for what she does every day and how she impacts the lives of the kids.
I must say, I met a young lady. She came in with us 3 years ago. She really engaged herself. We sewed together. We had like a bazaar, and we sold pillows, and she sewed and sold pillows. Her family came in. I also attended her wedding, or whatever. We really connected on, on a level, just higher than just hello and speaking in this place,
And the last, and one example of the deeper work is sort of like community campaigns. There have been all kinds of community campaigns that bubble up, and with students, with their energy and the time that they have to do a lot of legwork and make connections and so forth. So we've been involved in oral history campaigns. Last semester, students helped put together, under the community's leadership, what was called the Over the Rhine People's Movement History Timeline. And there's a poster about 20 feet long with important dates that are absolutely important to the consciousness of the movement and to the social justice.
When we were planning for Buddy Gray's 10th anniversary, just all the support and the practical things that we were able to do that year. I had a whole week of trying to raise awareness about Buddy's life and what he stood for, and just they helped put together, one of the students' family members helped put together this video that we have, and there's just a lot of energy. I remember that particular year, but we couldn't have pulled it off without the energy of the students helping us do it that particular.
Once in a while I watch them, gaggles of them walking down the street to community council meetings and to various other kinds of hearings and meetings, and they're always involved. Every time you go to some kind of civic meeting, there'll be a group of Miami students.
One of the ways in which the Homeless Coalition utilizes the space over at Buddy's Place, the Center for Community Engagement in Over the Rhine, is they provide us with a meeting space for free, which is great because we, as of now, don't really have a good space, which you guys are actually helping us to get. But it's instrumental in providing, like, for example, every year we do a survey with people who are currently homeless, who are staying at different shelters, and they come in and they get to have a voice in what's going on and the decisions that are being made about them.
Some of the things that we've learned through these 10 years, we have learned about distinguishing between community service and maybe more community activism and community engagement.
We don't have to convince the center that we've got something worthwhile to give or to share. There's just been this trust that the center, I think, aligns itself with our struggle for standing up for justice here in the community, and that's been a real gift.
From what I've seen, it's brought the community closer together. I think a lot of people, especially when we mention that we're working with Miami, they sort of say, oh, well, they worked on Venice on Vine, or they worked on this project at Peasley, and it kind of sparks a conversation, and I think it's, we try to, as an organization, bring people together, but I think Miami's doing that as well, and kind of creating these great spaces that we all use.
I totally agree.
is getting out. The word is kind of getting